record.
And record.
In. Okay.
The atonement, reprehensible style, the secret beer mile. Tackle it down in the early morning. I have a shotgun, a disco bass son.
I thought that was a glitch the first time I heard it. I was didn't want to be disrespectful.
Right, so you're like,
yeah. You didn't want to be the guy. I got two cats in here. They're already freaking out. Well, anyway, it's good to see you, Colin.
Yeah, here we are, joint pod. Oh, I just opened this beer and got beer all over my computer. Whiskey.
I got this Japanese whiskey Suntory there. Whiskey Toki.
What brought you to that?
What
brought that to you?
I was talking about how Japanese whiskey is very good because Japanese people do everything but better than everyone else. And apparently they also do whiskey better than everyone else too. So, let me see.
Dude, I just had a really dark wittyism I was going to throw on top of that, but I decided not to. But now I feel like I have to share it.
As you can see, I'm not really teetotaling. I'd like to hear that. Why don't you just say it? I mean, you can only get canceled once, right?
I was going to say that they commit suicide better than everybody else, too.
Oh, you're not lying. Dude, I was listening to Hardcore History. Have you listened to that before?
I don't think so.
They have this whole, one on, Japanese power structures and stuff. And it was so crazy. They talked about all the surrenders in World War II. Apparently 1.5 million Germans surrendered. And not a single, notable command post of Japanese soldiers surrendered during World War II, which is insane.
Right. I learned that they were told that they would be treated just horribly and tortured by the Americans, and that was after their, cultural beliefs of never give up type deal, whereas it's more honorable to commit suicide than to be captured.
They're the Buzz Lightyear of soldiers. Never give up, never surrender.
That's not Buzz Lightyear. That's the guy from Galaxy Quest.
Oh. What does Buzz Lightyear say then?
To infinity and beyond.
Anything never give. Yeah, maybe they were doing the kamikaze shit. Who knows?
Wow. Anyway, we're doing a joint pod.
Joint pod. All right, I got all my cats out. They're harassing me. Get out of here, Presley.
All right.
All right, sorry. All right.
So yeah, while you're doing that, I took last week off after my unfortunate loss to O'Malley, the Monday night, the opposite of a miracle for me, where I had gotten 0 out of Jared Cook the day before, and then Mooney puts up 2 catches on 7 yards, and O'Malley beats me by 4 points. And so I decided to take last week off because, no loss could be worse than that.
That was a tough loss.
But I wanted to share an update with you all. My house already heard this, and it's hilarious or infuriating, depending on which side of the story you're on. So the Gopher Chronicles are well chronicled in the league, how they're basically just running rampant in our yard, but sneakily, we haven't put eyes on them for a long time, and plants just keep disappearing, especially in the box that Bacon and I had cleared out and planted. So I got a trap. I got this thing called a gopher hawk, where basically it's just a tall tube that has a spring that you push the spring down, and a coil kind of opens on the bottom that you insert into the tunnel. And so when the gopher walks through it, it triggers a mechanism and it gets it.
Alive, right?
That's really funny. The cat's walking across. So on the box, it says it humanely kills it. It says humane. It's quick, humane kill.
A humane kill. This feels like a oxymoron or whatever.
So anyway, I got this gopher hawk. I put it into the ground after another plant went down, right? So what you're supposed to do is you can't put it in the hole. You have to find the tunnel and then put it in the tunnel. So the hole's over here. The gopher like goes through.
Sex education, actually. Crazy. Never put in the hole. You got to find the tunnel, Colin.
For gophers anyway, or mouse. I don't know. In any case, I did the whole setup. I put it in. 24 hours go by. I go out there, and you can tell if the trap has been sprung because when you set the spring, a yellow portion becomes hidden. And so when the trap is sprung, the yellow portion is seen again. Come out the next day at like noon, and the yellow portion is up, which means the trap has sprung.
Sprung, yeah.
So I went over there, I look in there, and it's kind of hard because there's dirt, right? And I see a little patch of fur. So the gopher is in the trap. I got it. And so I like go to pull this thing out of the ground, right? And it's like a tube, but this is a thick ass gopher and he can't fit through the hole that the tube made. And so I'm kind of like yanking a little bit. I'm yanking, and eventually I yank, and the trap comes out of the ground. No gopher. Because I had pulled it and the gopher was too fat. So no gopher. I'm confused. I look in the hole. No gopher. The thing was fucking alive and it got away.
Wow. Maybe now it'll be so injured it'll plug up the hole and die, and then no more gophers will get to your gopher.
I wish. No, it ate another plant. It's still around.
Dude,
I was...
point. They can eat your plants. You can kill them with humane spring traps. It's like you might as well get a little guillotine in there.
So then the next time, if the trap springs, that's when I bring the shovel over. So it's like a 2-pronged attack. So I pin it and then...
Oh my God. Dude,
that's the plan.
My garden has been flourishing, but these little birds have been taking my tomatoes. I saw them like through my shower. I was like, doing that Joe Biden thing through your shower. I was looking at my garden, and sure enough, these little sparrows or something were just swarming my tomato plants, getting all the good red ones too. I was like, little fuckers, like, there's nothing I can. What are you gonna do? There's no bird trap that you can throw up there. Maybe just put up
Can you cover them, like a cover on the tomatoes?
I'm sure you could, but at this point of the season, it's not really.
I've seen little drawstring bags you can put on them too. So it's like kind of like a little Ziploc bag, but instead of the Ziploc, it says tie. It's a mesh bag. You put over the bunch and you cinch it, and then the birds can't get at it.
Oh man, yeah. I'm a little worried about next season because all the birds are going to know what's up now, and all their kids are going to know what's up, and then after that, it's just going to be a free for all for my tomatoes. So. Anyway, my garden is doing well. No gophers yet. There's been some rat action, but
rats.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Rats are gnarly. They're everywhere, man.
Woof.
Everywhere.
Well, anyway, back to the football that we're talking about here.
Were we ever talking about football? I don't think we ever. We got to the Japanese being really good at suicide.
Yeah.
It went downhill. It went even further downhill from that with your gopher killing.
Then Japanese suicide. Oh, man.
We couldn't go any lower.
I was telling that whole story to my mom on the phone. And I said, Mom, I would take so much pleasure in chopping this gopher in half. And she said, oh, my goodness. Where's my son?
Been saying about you, Colin, for the last couple of years, ever since you killed that first gopher. You could just see the bloodlust start to
that actually was a mole, and I learned afterwards that moles don't eat plants; they eat bugs. So the whole the thing was an innocent bystander.
Might as well have killed like a house cat that just strayed onto your property. It's like, this thing must be eating something. Getting them. Impossible, Colin. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so last weekend, Evan and I, along with Alice and Chelsea, we met up at the Oakland Athletic Club. Pretty cool. Yeah, their drink selection was good. They had great food too. Evan and Alice had some chicken and waffles. Chelsea had a breakfast sandwich, and we later got a plate of like 20 wings. It was really good. We were having Irish coffees, Bloody Marys. They had a space dust on tap, which is really good.
Really good. That Elysian, right? Is that
Yeah.
what you say?
I don't know how to say it. I like to say Eliason because it sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds cooler than Elysian. It sounds like gnarly things on your flesh.
It sounds like a yeah. I say mine sounds like a mythical dragon, Eliason.
Way cooler. Let's go with yours, Eliason.
So you wanna get into the Ghost Gate?
Ghost Gate, yeah. So I was a little shocked on Saturday night. I was playing a gig, and basically I called you because my phone is kind of broken, and I can call with my AirPods in, but other than that, it doesn't really do a whole bunch. Now I'm at the point where I'm like opening my apps twice in order to scroll in them because I can't scroll the first time I open the app, so I have to open it twice, which is pretty annoying. And it's starting to take forever to load everything, so now I'm just like, is it even worth going on this app at this point? So basically, that's been happening. So I just called you because I didn't want to deal with the messaging side of it. And we had talked about potentially hanging out, all that kind of stuff. You sent me some texts. I sent you some texts. Seem to have gotten them. You sent me back some texts proposing a trade. I sent you back more texts. Ghosted. I thought you ghosted me, but I was not too upset about it because I had already communicated with Evan. Maybe he didn't get him either. I don't know. We'll have to check with him. But I think he did. I think he responded. But basically, at that point, we were ghosting each other, but not by our own. We were accidentally ghosting each other. So I have the documents. You said you had the documents. I had the documents.
Right.
Documents.
It was pretty funny. In GroupMe, I'm like, don't make me screenshot you, and you're like, do it. And on my end, I'm like, what? Okay.
You're like an idiot.
Yeah, I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. But so that's how the Ghost Gate went down. No trade happened until today when we had a little trade-a-rooney.
That's right. Yeah.
I just wanted my Giants back, man. It's like you have that long-term relationship that goes pretty good, and then, they move away, and then you can't date anymore. That's kind of like the Giants buy. They left me, and I had to get rid of them. So I picked up the Chiefs, and I thought I had the hot new ticket in town because I figured it was going to be a revenge game against the Raiders. I kind of think the Raiders are a bit overrated a little bit right now. Mm-hmm. And with that against Kansas City, I was like, they're going to come back and just crush them. And I could see, some gnarly shit going down. As we all know, the game did not turn out that way. And I got 1 point from the Kansas City defense. I was scrolling through all the defenses today. There's like 8 of them in there, and they all suck.
Dude, so many people have 2 defenses in our league.
And I realized if I wasn't going to start Boston Scott last week, I wasn't going to start Boston Scott the week before that, I'm never going to start Boston Scott. So I'm basically just praying for a Miles Sanders injury at that point with him, which I don't know. I probably should because all of my guys are injured. So at some point, someone else is going to get injured. But I decided to go back to my Giants defense. They have a pretty friendly playoff schedule too. Let me take a look at it real quick.
I was comfortable. I was comfortable getting rid of them because I have Miami, who's playing the Jets this week, and then I think they actually play the Bengals next week, which is why the Giants are so alluring to me, or they were this week, because they're playing the Joe Burrow-less Bengals.
So I like that matchup too, even if I just play them this 1 week, because now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of a tough schedule. Going forward, I'd probably have to hold them until the championship game, and that's against Dallas. So I might do that because, dude, my running backs are such trash right now. What am I going to do? I hear that Carson's coming back, so that's positive.
He'll be back.
And Christian McCaffrey all of a sudden is practicing this week. I think
Interesting.
limited form of practicing, but him and Teddy are both practicing. So he went from like basically out to doubtful. So we'll see what happens there. I think they shut him down. I think they don't play him this week. He has a bye next week, so it doesn't help me at all in the regular season. And then he comes back, and if I get bumped all the way down to 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place, then I'll have him for that first game of the playoffs, hopefully. Or they'll have anyone.
Any more games you can get out of him is good.
Dude, he has what, 6 touchdowns in 3 games? It's so insane.
Yeah, the one game he comes back, he shits on me.
Dude, he's so good. I'm so bummed, too, because it's like I finally got to justify myself being a fan and, like, pick the guy that you would pick as a homer, you know?
Right. Uh-huh.
Just screwed me over. But, yeah,
20 and Adam.
Yeah, 27 points week 1, 2 touchdowns. 22.8 week 2, 2 touchdowns. That's against Tampa Bay, who turns out they have a pretty elite run defense. And 32.1 against Kansas City. So, yeah, pretty frustrating there. But hopefully I can get him back. If I get him back for the playoffs, I feel good. But if I don't have him, then I'm feeling pretty meh about myself, to be honest.
Yeah, speaking of meh, why don't we move into what happened this last week here?
Yeah.
So going over my picks.
NPM.
What?
Talk about the NPM. How's it holding up? How's it doing?
Sure. All right. So the NPM.
Treating everyone well but you is what it seems like.
Basically, yeah. Well, this actually is the first matchup of my own that the NPM incorrectly picks. However, there is some variance. There's a plus or minus 1 game variance in the NPM built in. NPM went 4-2 this past week, and the true measure, I think, of the prediction model will be the 6 playoff teams. 6 playoff teams and their seeding, and then everyone and their seeding.
You happen to have the 6 playoff teams that you picked?
Not on the top of my head, but I mean, let's see. So I picked you. I picked Bill. I picked Bacon. I picked O'Malley. So it was you, Bill, Bacon, O'Malley, myself, then
picked Weaver as a lock. I'm like fairly.
No. I picked Brad and Weaver as the 6th seed at 6 and 7.
God.
Or excuse me, the model picked Brad and Weaver as the 6th seed.
Dude.
It now has a life of its own beyond me, where we were picking different things. The model is doing better than I am.
This model is a worse model than an Instagram model is a model. Just not it. Not it at all.
Let's wait till the playoffs are decided.
In name only is it a model. Function.
It's gonna hear you.
NPM. So,
yeah.
Colin, do you want to just get into the group picks?
Let's do it.
All right. So Colin was a shocking 2-4 to bring your record to an overall 32-34. How do you feel?
Yes. Not good. I mean, a few weeks ago, I went 0-6, which really has been tarnishing my record. I'm trying to claw out of that. But season's not over with yet.
Here's something fun about. So you're 32-34, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 32 correct picks with 18 less total picks than you.
That's not fun.
I'm at 32-16 right now.
You're at 32-16?
2-16. You can go to the league pick'em, and it shows your total points, your total win-loss, your percentage correct, your last week's points.
So while that is impressive, it is possible that those other missing picks you all could have got incorrect.
But the average day I would get 66.7% of them correct. So that's what the model is, Colin. I'm not speaking for anything else other than the model here.
What model?
Championship model. Right here.
Dude, can you hear me okay? You keep like cutting in and out a little bit.
Cutting in and out.
I don't know if it's like on my end or your end. I think it's like the beginning of your speech. Like when we're talking over each other, it doesn't register your voice.
Yeah. Zoom, I think, does that. But I could check my settings really quick and make sure.
I also could just bail on these AirPods. It's up. Maybe that's what it is.
Could be me. Are you hearing me at all right now?
Yeah.
I'll automatically adjust microphone volume. I click that, so maybe that will help a little bit.
Cool. Okay.
That's my volume now. So
maybe. Picks from last week. I picked myself over Pebbles. I was dead wrong. The model also picked Pebbles over myself over Pebbles. Also incorrect. Who did you have?
I picked Pebbles, and so did Weaver. Weaver also picked Pebbles.
Can you give me your logic in that pick?
Let me look back on that matchup. I honestly, and no disrespect here, I just felt like your team was pretty dead in the water. I didn't really overthink it that much. I saw that Josh Allen was on a bye. Kyler Murray, best quarterback in fantasy, basically. I liked his Cup and Allen stack. You're rolling out Boyd and Jones. And at the time, I didn't think Ridley was back. That was a factor too. I didn't think Ridley was back. So I think that you had someone else in your slot when I made the picks. I just don't like the running back situation you're dealing with. You got Henderson, who, as we know, is basically – I don't know what he did to piss off Sean McVay, but he went from being the apparent – semi-bell cow with 20 carries, 15, 14, 15, and then now everything's halved, 8, 7, 8. It's like
he got injured in the game before their bye, and then they had the bye, and I heard that the plan by the Rams, and of course this is way after I committed all these resources and stake at him. Their plan all along was to get Akers more involved after the bye. So it was like his injury plus the bye plus trying to get Akers involved plus McVay just not really committing to any of them.
Yeah.
Resulting in Henderson now basically being worthless.
So that was my pick on that. So let's just go with you and Peebly. That's a brutal way to get essentially eliminated from the playoffs. I think you're still technically in it because – are you technically in it?
I don't know. Numbers wise, maybe, but my points are really bad. So
weeks left, you have 4 wins. Everyone else in the 6 range has 7. So you can't reach 7 wins. So you're out.
Yeah.
We have brave Sir Dobbins hanging on by a thread, and we have Chubbery. That was a crushing defeat for him Monday night for his playoff.
You want to visit that one next?
We'll do that one next. So let's just finishing my thoughts about Colin versus Peebly. You got doubled up in essentially your season eliminator. Is this were you in the playoffs last year? How did you finish last year?
I finished 3rd.
That's right. So you felt good about that. And then this year you come in all wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. And you got Koo on your side. You had a pretty good draft. You had everything rolling for you. I think you're 4-2?
Yeah, I've lost 5 straight games.
Just a big oop. So you got beat by 80.56, and you had 77.4.
That's a
really
exact, hard, sad facts. That's what I call a sad fact.
His biggest blowout of the week. It's right here. It has all the info. It has all the data. Sorry, I'll stop rubbing it in.
No, it's fine. I mean, going through it, I just made a lot of
You're
mistakes as a manager this year. Trading DJ Moore was a mistake. Dropping Brandon Cooks was a mistake. But in addition to that, like, and I don't want to use this card because everyone's dealing with this shit, but Sanders, Mixon, and Ridley all missing significant time hurt. And there's a stretch of games. There was like a month where Josh Allen was dog shit. And so all this was happening at the same time. And
yeah,
my
you had
team
some
has
tough losses. You had that loss we talked about last week where you just barely got beat and your tight end put up 0. Where are you? I'm trying to find your little. And then you lost against me in a blowout fashion. So you've lost 2 of your last 3 to the high scores. And you're getting maxed over here. And let me see here. I'm trying to remember what you look like every time. All right, you're the Terminator. But you can't really put – I mean, you got almost high scored by Weaver, but you still put up 80. And then, you haven't put up much more than – I don't think you've broken 110 since your last win. So
yeah, it's just key players being injured coupled with – I don't know. I mean, like, so for instance, this week, yeah, it fucking sucks. So last week, losing to O'Malley is really bad because that was like life I could have kept that I did not. This week, losing to Pebbles, while infuriating, basically it was done by like the first quarter of the first game. Like him and I were texting, and Carson Wentz threw a pick 6 in that Browns game, and it was done. It was basically done at that point. Our matchup was just done. I had texted Pebbles, good W. That was it. But the like silver lining on the shit cake is that no one would have beat Pebbles this week. So he like high spotted the entire league. It's like if this was the week that I had to win to move on and no one matched him, like it's what am I gonna do? Right. So
yeah, he had a very even like performance from everyone. He got 26 from Keenan Allen, but everyone else was like 20, 9, 10, 11, 16. And then 22 from Cleveland defense. So,
dude, it's the Cleveland and coup, like 33 points out of your special teams is huge.
Dude, I mean, he got 21 more points out of his defense than I did last week, which is pretty crazy.
So focus shifts. I look forward to the playoff and Sacco primers that will come out.
A curse upon your house when I said you were going to be competing for Sacco. And then you further put a curse on your house when you basically agreed with the whole league that you do shotguns for everyone.
So there's seven shotguns, and I have photographic evidence of this.
We need to put this to the league.
No, we don't need to put it to the league.
7 likes on your post. It doesn't mean that more people didn't agree to do shotguns. Like, I'm in, Colin, typing it. Like, that
I literally said, you must like this message in order to be in.
Did you say that after people?
Literally, like right on there.
All right. Well, we're going to need to do some instant replay review on this.
If you want to scroll through the hundreds of messages, be my guest.
Definitely will. And let me tell you.
Look at this one right here.
All right, let's see this. What does that say? I will take shotgun bets with anyone who would like. I bet on myself making the playoffs, and there's 7 people who liked it. Nowhere in that message did you say that you must like it to take a shotgun bet.
That's the next message.
It should be this, right? Millennials do this, and we do this because we're old as shit.
That's so funny that that's a generational thing you're talking about. It really is. Oh my God, this is completely off topic, but you've seen like the phone thing? They did.
It's this or this.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you like they do like that C basically, like they're holding a big.
Like they're holding a phone. Yeah.
Banana. Like, of course we do the banana.
Mm-hmm.
But it's over for us, Colin. We're officially losing more from life than it has to offer. I just watched that in it's like, it was from the Indiana Jones, the Crystal Skulls one, where they're like officially losing or life's taking more than it's giving us. We're at that age, the classic "I'm old now" scene. Anyway, I butchered that.
We got to move on to the next matchup.
What we have is my favorite matchup this week is Stu with a win over Evan, and Cam Akers with a miracle waltz into the end zone from the 4-yard line. Pretty much the only opportunity that I had to win the game. He did not get a goal line. He got a goal line snap, and then I realized Cam Akers is their goal line back. So I told you this story.
Now he is.
We kind of predicted that. I mean, their beat writers were saying that he was going to be – you just said it, like he was going to get more opportunity after the bye, right? Their beat reporters have been saying that they're trying to, give him the majority. I think Malcolm Brown only gets so much more run.
Well, he's a third down guy. He's a third down back.
He might not even be after a few more weeks. Not that Cam Akers has been hugely effective, but I don't see Malcolm Brown being hugely effective. He had a nice little run on like 3rd and 17, but it's like that's a draw play. Of course, you're going to get 10 yards on that,
Yeah.
So I was saying earlier in the game, I think it was the second quarter maybe, and they had the ball on the goal line and they did a little jet sweep to Cam Akers, or not to him, but he ran the jet sweep, and they didn't hand him the ball. And the defense didn't even pay attention to him. It's not like anyone even thought that he was going to get the ball at all. Like, no one on the defense thought he was going to get the ball. And he just ran free while Robert Woods caught this little curl pass. I think it was like a little pick route, and then he got into the end zone. And I was thinking, like, dude, they're not even paying attention to Cam when he's running. Like, so I thought the Rams are never going to give him the ball because of that play.
Mm.
I don't know if he was minus 0.1 fantasy points at halftime, and I thought I pretty much mailed it in for myself. I was like, it's over. There's no way. I can't have my hopes up. Like, my hopes were as far down. Like, I was pretty fired up because I thought Mahomes wasn't going to get the ball back. I thought they were going to stop the Raiders, and then they were going to just kneel the ball out and it would be done. But somehow the Raiders scored and then gave up everything.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, well, now I don't need 1 point from Cam Akers. Now I need 6. So I'm totally screwed. But going back to that play, no one on the defense paid attention to Cam. They go into half, and they run another goal line play where basically no one's paying attention to Cam again. They don't think he's going to get the ball. Defensively, they don't think that. And he just walks into the end zone from like 4 yards out. So maybe that play earlier was telling that they had seen it in their film study on the sideline and decided to give him a chance. I don't know, but I was so happy, and I was laughing so hard when it happened. I was just like, I cannot believe I'm so. According to Max, I must have the best karma ever. I must be the best guy ever.
You're the best guy in the league. Yeah.
Because look at my wins these past few weeks. I mean, it turns out Weaver is a little bit. My win against him last week with super low scoring fashion wasn't so much of an anomaly. Now that he put up nothing this week too. So.
Right. Last week was really low scoring for the entire league. I think only 2 people met their projections. But yeah, I initially had picked Evan to win this matchup because of the sorry state of your running backs, right? And you totally lucked out with the Akers touchdown in that Monday night game. But even beyond that,
yeah,
Evan's team, like both Robbie Anderson and Jacoby Myers, underperformed, especially Jacoby Myers, given that he was getting just fed the ball in the last few games. And then Gio Bernard too. I would say that Evan's loss is on the shoulders of Robbie Anderson, Jacoby Myers, and then Gio Bernard getting sub 8 points after having like really good weeks as the starter by and large, except against like Pittsburgh last week. But that's not something that you're gonna fault someone for, because Pittsburgh's got the best defense in the league.
And Nick Chubb got vultured twice by
Hunt. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly.
it was tough for him, man. But he had a and also he had a subpar Mahomes performance. It was a lot. Robbie Anderson's kind of come down to earth. He's basically that 10-point a game guy now without much variance. And Chubb is back, but he got vultured a bunch. 114 rushing yards. He could have had 2 touchdowns easily.
For sure. We were watching that game, and it was a slosh fest in the rain.
But yeah, Hunter Henry almost cooked my turkey there.
Right. So that's a really interesting thing, that trade that Evan made Rojo for Hunter Henry. And maybe not all of us, but, we were not stoked on it. And then Hunter Henry scores, puts up double digits, and then Ronald Jones has 24 rushing yards total.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that trade for a sec?
Sure.
So I was not happy with it because I thought that Rojo is basically starting running back, but Evan just wanted to get rid of the headache. It's like when you start a guy week in and week out and he gets 4 or 3, at the time he was coming off a 25-point game. He had some opportunity, but there are also just some mind-numbing, like 3 attempts. I guess they got blown out by New Orleans, so they just, shut it down. But yeah, 7 attempts against the New York Giants. He should be running 20 times.
It's tough. Some of those players, I understand not wanting the headache, and I'm currently living that with Henderson, which fucking sucks. Not as drastic as what the Ronald Jones thing was happening, but some players, you just take that boom or bust, and then if they boom, and then you're stoked, right? So it's worked out now for Evan, but let's kind of revisit it in a few weeks to see where those performances can lie.
It's tough because he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher by the end of the year. Likely, he needs 250 more yards. He has 4 more games, so maybe he won't be, but odds are he'll probably crack 1,000. And it's how many 1,000-yard backs are there in the league? You look at the player list, and what I like to do, all players. You go to running back, and then just go to fantasy points. Let's see where he's at. Let's see, Jones. He is the 7th highest scoring running back on the year. And he's been inconsistent, but he's still a top 10 running back on the year. He's better than Edwards-Helaire, Antonio Gibson, Todd Gurley, Mike Davis. Oh, no, sorry, I was looking at Aaron Jones. My mistake, everyone. But only 17 points less than Aaron Jones. So he's not top 10. He's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's 13th, but it's still 127 total fantasy points on the year. And even if they are matting – all right, here are some names he's actually better than. James Conner, Jonathan Taylor, Melvin Gordon, Darrell Henderson, your boy, Miles Sanders, your boy. So
Sanders was injured.
It gets real murky. It's tough to give up a running back for a tight end, but the tight end spot is also pretty gnarly. You have Hunter Henry. Let's see where he's at, and I'll actually find the right Henry. He's a top 10 tight end.
Yeah, I've gotten 0 points out of my tight end back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, and he's 60 points less total than Rojo, but it's still tough. By the way, Darren Waller, number 2 overall. Not even close, dude. It's insane. 162 for Kelsey, 109 for Waller.
Kelsey is second in the league in receiving yards in the entire league.
896. Oh, man,
yeah,
that's crazy.
He is a lock. He's one of those locks.
Oh,
Brad's team. That's why I think Brad is that's not news, right? But Brad's team is a serious title contender.
He is. Let's move on to last week. We're starting to get bogged down. I got some bogged down that trade shit. So now we go into O'Malley's over Weave. Bill. Where are we? Sorry, I was reading the wrong one.
Yeah, this is good. O'Malley's over Weave is fine.
Miles over Weave.
Can talk about that one. So this is the one actually I got correct. Did you also have this one?
Twice. It's O'Malley versus Weaver, right?
Yep. So, I mean, when you look at this, what jumps out at me is really poor game from Matt Ryan. I mean, the Falcons kicked 3 field goals only by Koo, of course. Matt Ryan puts up 5.28 points. He's good.
Why do you
Because I wanted to see Wilkins and his opportunity. So I picked up Wilkins. He played the Ravens, and he was bad, but everyone's bad. So I'm like, I got to give him one more week. They played the Titans, and he was bad. And then Koo was picked up. Whatever. We don't need to marinate on that. It's a bad move. Anyway, this actually is a game that Weaver could have won because Hopkins and Fulgham both have not great weeks. Okay, so this is a down week from Hopkins. Jefferson and Cook, that Viking stack, actually, and Cousins. So the Vikings were rolling for O'Malley. I mean, against Dallas, that's an easy start for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the Weaver side, bad game from Brian, bad game from Smith-Schuster. Christian Kirk has come down to earth a little bit in that one. I mean, he had been dominating. And then, the tight end, another tight end that did poorly, Logan Thomas, 1.8. And 0 from a kicker. Oh, man, Weaver hates kickers. I bet that was not great for him. This actually is a crazy week because the guys that did perform for Weaver really performed. His defense, Robert Woods, Ezekiel Elliott, Mike Davis, all had great games. So O'Malley just outlasted.
Smith-Schuster, trash, 4 receptions, 19 yards. But yeah, dude, I'm looking over here at Gascon, and his Vikings have been dominating for him, just dominating. He scored, what is that, 70 points from his Vikings, 60 points from his Vikings, 60, 22, 22, 16, 60 points from his Vikings alone. That's half of his point total.
Yeah,
Insane.
60 points from.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I would say 60 points from 3 players is amazing.
Yeah, but then he has
every time.
Clemson this week, and I'm a little nervous. Not gonna lie.
You should be.
Yeah, it was just tough. The Weaver's officially in his death throes. There's not a whole lot Weaver is going to be able to do, I don't think. We kind of predicted it, though, right? Like, we talked about how he is kind of feasting off the bats of these injured players. So, like, he has Mike Davis, who turns out to still be rolling. But he also, for some reason, has Tony Pollard, like vulturing. I mean, it was, I guess, one pretty yard-long rush TD, but still, that's such a bummer to see because you feel like if Zeke got that carry, he probably would have had a similar opportunity to get that touchdown.
Right. It's just an unfortunate week. I mean, you're getting 0 out of one player and then less than 6 points out of your quarterback. It's just not good, right? Like, I wonder how many weeks anyone has ever won with getting single digits out of the quarterback and then 0 out of another player, right?
Yeah. 5.28 from Ryan. That's really the number that jumps out. And he's been sitting on Dobbins this entire time. And he can't, like, not start him. I mean, he can't start him, I guess. But is Ingram back even?
I think they played. I think they all played.
But he looks like he's the guy now, 15 touches. And I guess the only guy you'd consider benching is Schuster. But he's been pretty dang good lately.
And that's a great matchup.
Yeah, 13, 10, 18, 18, and then he gets 3.9. So
it's a down week. I mean, sometimes teams have down weeks. Let me tell you, this is a down week.
So this one made me very happy. It was Bill getting the L from Bacon because I thought at the time I did my math all poorly because I thought that Evan was going to jump into the spot for some reason. I definitely misread the league standings. But Bill going from 2 all the way to 6, just plummeting down the rankings. And if it weren't for the fact that he's playing you and your team's kind of, just on its back, cockroach style, he's probably going to get a win against you, and then after that he'll be in the playoffs. But he would be in danger of missing the playoffs because he has the lowest point total by I would say a lot, but Bacon's right there with him. But other than Bacon, he has the lowest point total by 46 points from Evan. That's the next guy in playoff contention. And after that, it's just he's not even close to anyone. But it looks like he's going to limp into the playoffs. He might get Eckler back, and then he'll be back in business.
So the chicken ranch bet is still alive, is what you're saying.
Very much alive, yeah. I
So
wouldn't say
in this matchup, Bacon still gets the W, even though Burrow goes down. Big games, huge game out of Thielen, big game out of Tyreek, and then Henry.
It was that last Henry play. That's what won it for him, right?
Well, I mean, how long was that last play? I mean, he won by 12 points. Like, I thought it was just an end zone dive.
No, it was like a 35-yard run. So maybe it wasn't quite a game winner for him, but it was definitely like a 10-point play, 9-point play at the least. So
yeah, and actually Bacon was not looking great on Thursday because Bill had the Russell and Lockett stack working.
Dude, I swear that
the Thursday night curse.
It means you're gonna lose. If you put up points on Thursday night, you're gonna lose. Love to see the stats over the course of the year. We'll look it up. We'll do a deep dive one of these days and figure it out. But yeah,
shout out. Go ahead.
Deontay Johnson have a great game. Lockett have a great game. Pittman Jr. had a great game. Drake had a great game. He was like really going into those early games looking like he was going to blow them out, right? Like those are all early games. Thursday was 20, 17, 17, 15, 14. And Cooks had 10.5. Like everything was looking pretty good. He picked up Adrian Peterson, not a horrible look, but everything was looking great. But then all of a sudden, he's also getting this, Hooper action for 4.8. Even got 9 points out of his kicker. But, yeah, it just seemed like he was in pretty good shape. The Hooper and the Peterson, I guess, were kind of trouble. But then all of a sudden, Bacon comes roaring back with that Thielen 28-point game, that super late touchdown from Henry for 19. And then also Tyreek Hill just goes off on the Raiders for 21.5. Just kind of.
Yeah, if you look, Bill's got a lot of points on his bench. Like Jonnu Smith outscored Hooper. Receivers can kind of be a crapshoot, but Mike Williams outscores Cooks and Pittman there. And then, the backup running backs outscore Peterson. So, I did actually want to give Bill a shout out for picking up Pittman. That was a good grab there. He's had 2 strong games in a row and seems like to be the guy with Philly Riv in Indianapolis.
Yeah. Looks like we'll see what happens when a little bit more game tape is out on this dude. Kind of happened with Fulgham a little bit. He starts to blow up for a few weeks, and next thing you know, he has some down weeks because the league's catching up on him.
For sure, he's getting that number 1 treatment.
Yeah. So let's. What else we have? We have Scott.
Dulce. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do Max and Scott. Let's do it.
And great win. I don't really have much to say about it.
For Max, well, let's see. Looking at it, CeeDee Lamb had that ridiculous touchdown grab for Scott. That was cool.
That was really sweet.
Michael Thomas is finally performing, as that number 1 pick. I mean, this is his best game by far on the season, and that's kind of funny because with fucking Taysom Hill. Wentz.
A few fumbles and like dumb shit happened to him, but like he was pretty solid, dude.
Aguilar on Scott's bench is unfortunate. Jonathan Taylor Thomas actually has a week where he outscores Hines on the bench. Scott just can't win with those Colts running backs. And then Wentz also has not a good game. It's kind of a tough week for Scott. I mean, this is one of those like coin flip things where the guys on your bench outscore the guys in your lineup. But 127 out of Max is no joke. I mean, he's kind of like a Pebbles squad where everyone beyond like one or two guys has a really solid week.
Yeah, what I was going to say is also Scott started his boy, Rojo, his acquisition. And that goes very poorly for him. 24 rushing yards. It looked like no one was interested in running the ball at all in that game. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It was just weird game. So, yeah, both those guys are at the bottom of the league. I'm sure they'll be fine in the future, but not this year. So,
last one, Pandulce and Yadam.
This one was a heartbreaker for old Yadam. Marquise Brown getting 0 obviously is a huge lament. At least he's finally starting. DJ Moore. He hadn't benched, I think, last week, and I was like, I know he is inconsistent, but he's so good. When he gets the ball, he's just so ferocious. Like he doesn't go down, and a lot of yards after catch. I think they realized that they need to feed him a little bit more because they were losing games trying to really force the ball to Curtis Samuel, and they gotta get DJ Moore involved. But anyway,
he's had some strong performances. Yeah, for sure. DJ Moore is back. Robbie Anderson kind of suffering from that. Brad's squad is solid. I mean, 116 isn't like a world-beating amount of numbers, but Curtis Samuel, who's had good back-to-back weeks for Brad, actually one good week. Samuel is putting up fat numbers, but no one picked him up. Brad grabbed him for free off of waivers. Just picked him up. Like
I had him on my team for a little bit early in the year and had to drop him because he wasn't doing it. But, yeah, he's been blowing up. And I mentioned last week that I mentioned a couple weeks ago that, obviously he was doing well. He had a touchdown. But I mentioned 2 weeks ago against Tampa Bay, I was like, they're really, really, like, trying to get him involved, like throwing him the ball at every opportunity in, like, cherry situations that you want him to get it. And it just didn't work out for him. He got 2.7, and I was shocked to see that number because I thought that he was always on the screen. But yeah, look at these numbers: 14.3, 19.4, 22.3, 2.7, and 17.4. So just found cash, found money there.
Right. I mean, the one thing that jumps out to me about him and those numbers is there was a lot of talk that he was benefiting from McCaffrey being out. He was getting rushes and just more looks in general. And then the one game that McCaffrey is back against the Chiefs, Samuel has 9 for 9, 105 yards, touchdown. So he seems like the real deal. I was hearing that he's being used by Matt Rule, who's the coach of the Panthers, as he was being used at Ohio State. So like all around the field, all over, really just highlighting his athleticism.
Yeah, and he is insanely athletic, but I don't see that production going anywhere anytime soon. Curtis Samuel is here to stay for sure.
One thing that Brad also had is Josh Kelly, one of the most traveled players on our league, giving him 1.2 points. Yeah, good win for Brad. I mean, it's a low-scoring affair, but he's second place at 7-4, and this is a team to keep some eyes on because, like we were just talking about, Kelsey is just a fucking beast. It's not going away.
He's got to be the favorite at this point, I feel like. Look at his bench. He's got Mostert coming back. And when Mostert's been healthy, he hasn't scored less. I mean, he scored 13.4 and 8.6, but even if you have that in your flex, you're solid. That's great.
Better than Josh Kelly, that's for sure.
And I think he's could be in the driver's seat, especially with the bye. And if CMC gets shut down, I would say, and we'll get to predictions maybe later, but let's get into this week. We've
No,
been
let's do the mailbag. Let's split it up a little bit. Let's do
all
our
right,
mailbag, and then we'll get to next week's whatever's
Did you
going
get
on.
questions? I only got one, and I don't
did.
think I got enough.
I did get a question. All right, here's the question from Swole in San Jose.
That's how you say it for sure.
Well, that makes it sound like an attractive woman. Let's see. Where's this thing? What do you think went wrong with the NPM trademark? And can we expect a new, more improved Terminator, model? So why don't you take this one first, and then I'll throw the answer on top after that.
First of all, let's clarify that we're using the term model very lightly here. This is not so much a model as it is Colin shoehorning himself into the playoffs from a very awkward situation. It's like a size 7 shoe going on a size 11 foot. It's probably not going to make it on there. But what could Colin do to improve the model? I think you got to take the Yahoo projections out of it. Was that in fact part of the model?
Okay, yeah, I'll take this question over. So basically, we talked about the +1 or -1 variance in these win totals. I haven't checked every single, actually I have checked every single win that the model has predicted. We'll be releasing full findings later on. And as I said, the playoff teams will be the ultimate decider of the model. And if we're talking about me trying to shoehorn myself into the playoffs, it was a record of 7-6 that I needed to achieve, which would have been wins against Pebbles, Bill, and Max. Pebbles absolutely destroyed me. But I could have potentially achieved, and this is just one team out of 12 that we're talking about here that the model was predicting, could have achieved the 3 wins if I had beaten O'Malley last week. Now, your question, did I use the Yahoo projections? The only thing I used Yahoo for was the injury return timelines. So, for instance, when the model was created, Mixon would have been back, as would have McCaffrey, as would have like Eckler, whenever his timeline is, right? I just use Yahoo for those timelines.
Gotcha.
No, there will not be another replacement model, Swole in San Jose, and we can't speak ill of the model. So what was the mailbag?
Ill of the model. Let's just be clear. You can, but you'll be unhappy with that.
What has your record been in the past 3 weeks?
Phenomenal. The SPM has been very good. Let's check it out. Oops, wrong button here. So my league pick'em, that's what I'm looking at here. The SPM trademark has been, darn it, sorry, still navigating. 5 wins, 5 wins, 5-1, 5-1 the last 2 weeks, and then I zeroed it because I was drunk or something.
I actually meant your personal record.
Oh, my personal record? I think I won 3-0.
Yeah. And the model projected you to be 5-0 by the end of the year.
Despite everything, I'm 3-0.
Right. So I'm just saying some things are misses and some things are hits. So we'll see what happens at the end of the season with the NPM.
Yeah. So anyway, I had a question from Adam Bolenbaugh, avid listener from Oakland.
Check out my elevator, I think his tag is.
What is it?
Check out my elevator.
Yeah, the Hellevator. His question is, for the 4 teams eliminated, what should the shot they take out of the toilet bowl be for each person if they go on to earn the Sacco? So that would right now be you, Adam, Mario Party, so Max, and then Scott. So what would everyone take a shot of? You want to go first, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I'm thinking. So Max would obviously take a Bud Heavy.
Yeah, I think that's what's up.
The
Bud
Bud
Light or
Heavy. Yeah. Scott is probably taking. Man, I'm like torn between some kind of like supplement that none of the rest of us know about, but is like really good for brain stimulation,
wheatgrass, dude. Wheatgrass shot.
or something that is just like highly caffeinated to stay up late when you're trying to study. Like, did you ever have that? What was it called? That soda, like Jolt? Was it called Jolt?
Red line? I don't know, dude. Why not just a
Yeah.
5 hour?
The Stu Patrick Good trademarked 5-hour energy cocktail.
Dude, that's delicious. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a shot of wheatgrass.
Okay.
And then I think Adam would probably take like a Johnny Walker, like double barrel, something like that, something nice. Let's be honest, Adam's not taking a toilet bowl shot every morning. So what would he actually put in there? Maybe some flavored coffee, because that's what he offered us the other day. Flavored coffee. I'm not sure what your feelings are on flavored coffee. They always taste like aspartame to me, so I can't mess with it. It tastes like
It depends on the flavor.
yeah, synthetic to me. It tastes a little strange. And you, what would you take a shot of? You're the best qualified to tell him.
Man, well, if I were to have to take a shot out of a certain object, did you just adjust your championship, motherfucker? What would I take? I don't think I would have one set thing. I think I would mix it up with whatever was readily available, depending on where I am. I mean, the default probably would be some kind of whiskey, but I think I wouldn't be like if I was on the go and had to find something else. I'd use what I have. Like for instance, I found a Corona in Chelsea's parents' fridge that I'm drinking now, so I just make do with what you can find.
But you would for sure do the toilet bowl shot every week, right?
I believe that it is a great ritual that Weaver started that should continue.
I think I've done it every week, but 2 maybe. I don't think I did it this week, and I didn't do it. I don't think last week. I think the last 2 weeks I haven't done it. I've been trying to. I've actually been pretty not hungover, just like exhausted the last 2 Sundays. Just haven't felt like turning up, kind of thing, you know. And I feel like that's a big turn up to like take the shot in the very beginning of the day. Then you're just like,
Imagine doing 7 shotguns in one day and having to space that out.
at least, maybe more. We'll find out. To be determined.
Well, that was a fun mailbag. So now we can dive into the next week's picks. Actually, before we do that, so projection update. This last weekend, only 4 people met the projections. Bacon, Brad, Max, and Pebbles. Of those, let's see. Bacon won, Brad won, Max won, Pebbles won. So all 4 guys met the projections or exceeded them and won. However, on the season, as a league, we've only met projections 50 times out of 132 possible instances. So that's a clip of 37.8%, which is not good.
Oh, no. Dude, we're a gold league. That's pretty good, right? Gold league? I wonder what my other leagues are. Sorry, I'm not saying it because I want to talk about my other leagues. I'm saying it because I want to see how our league compares to these other ones because we're a gold league, right? So I have another league that is kind of meh. That's a silver league. And how about that other one? That's also a silver league. So good news, guys. We're the best.
I wonder how they judge league to league. Like, because in each league you're gonna have the same amount of wins and losses, right? Now they must average the like levels out of the entire players, right?
It makes me not want to be in more leagues because I scored like 154 points 3 weeks ago, and I lost points because like I had a devastating like loss in both my other leagues. I didn't even like score poorly. I just lost. So I lost points because I went 1-2 in fantasy football that week. And I think it weighs heavily on like the win-loss record because I gained points because I went 3-0, but all of my teams were not good because I basically have the same players because I kind of believe in not varying your draft. Like if you believe a guy is the guy you want, you just take him because there's a reason why you believe it. And yeah, it's just like I won them all, but I really should be losing points. Honestly, I scored at the lower half of the league in the other two, and in this one I didn't do great. I guess I would have beaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people, so I was like dead middle. You know, it's like why am I gaining points from
I think it's win losses as well because in my example, I've lost. It's my one league. I've lost 5 straight games, and I've been gold the entire time. Gold the entire season.
So do you want to? So now I think we should just get into the matchups, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Are we just sorry, let me for some reason it's still showing last week. Let me adjust that. All right. Ooh, it's rivalry week, baby.
Rivalry week. Here we go.
Gave Sean O'Malley some heat in the group me today. It didn't seem like he liked it too much. I was going I was like, he takes 3 toilet bowl shots and he's teaching the class. He seemed to be upset by the whole situation.
That's good. You know what? I should start texting Bill some shit. You know, I'll text him right now. I'm going to say.
What can you say to Bill? Look at this.
I'm going to say.
Bill. It's a Maxwell Dunn sandwich, dude.
I bet the bed in your extra room is only a 6 out of 10 comfort level.
That's a strong insult. I bet it's worse than that. Did we ever decide to find it? I remember typing something like, where did this bed come from? And I don't think we got an answer, so.
Also, you are probably not its first owner. This is good. We'll see what Bill gets back to us. I'll update the group.
Dude, I was hoping O'Malley was going to put some zingers, but it seemed like he came back with the "Who hurt you?" You know, that like classic like face for "Who hurt you?" It's like, bro.
He did. I don't think he knows it's rivalry week.
I came in pretty hot though. But I thought it was pretty funny. So let's just go to that one. So we have me versus O'Malley.
No one fucks like Gaston. That's right.
What jumps out to you about this matchup?
Sure. So this one was tough to pick for me. And actually, this is my matchup of the week because it's 2 teams that are in the hunt, great records.
We're in the playoffs, baby. We're in the playoffs.
You're in the hunt. Only you are in the playoffs. No one else is in the playoffs.
in. We're in. Even if I beat him here, he's going to be in. His tiebreakers are phenomenal. He's the top scorer in the league, right?
In any case, so I wanted to pick Sean against you. I wanted to, but I didn't want to think too hard about it because my initial pick was you, and I didn't want to talk myself out of it, right? So obviously he has the Vikings stack. But on that front, a note that I did want to mention is they're playing the Panthers, and they just blanketed the Lions, right? So the Lions aren't exactly world beaters, but Stafford is a good quarterback, okay? And so
his thumb was injured. He had a torn ligament in his throwing thumb, so that was a big factor.
But you did say that Marvin Jones had a touchdown callback, right?
He did, and it was a bomb too. Yeah.
So I just think that the Panther defense is a little underrated. So I don't expect the Vikings to go off like they did against the Cowboys, which is a large part of O'Malley's team, as we talked about. Fulgham, we also mentioned him earlier in the pod, how he's getting the number one treatment now. I mean, the past 2 weeks since the Eagles bye, he hasn't eclipsed 1.3 points. The targets are there, but the catches are not there. He's not doing it anymore. And there's a lot more mouths to feed in that offense because Rager is healthy and back. Alshon Jeffrey is healthy and back. Not to mention Wentz is not looking great. So I don't think Fulgham is going to meet those projections. On your end, actually, this is kind of interesting because O'Malley has a lot invested in the Vikings and the Cardinals. He's got Edmonds and Hopkins and then those 3 Vikings. So half his team are playing in those 2 games, which are both being played at 10 a.m. on Sunday. So half his points will be done by that time. On your end, the thing that hop out to me, Balaj against Buffalo is going to be a tough game. Plus, those Charger running backs are getting healthier. So although I think Balaj has been the guy with the opportunity, who knows what's going to happen. Carson is a huge boon. Waller against the Falcons is going to be a good game. Newly acquired Giants defense against the Bengals. They're going to put up some points.
Backup Bill's going to be I think that's going to be 8 to 12 points.
Although on the other side of that coin is you have T. Higgins in there currently, and his production is going to suffer because of that. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of question marks on both teams. Claypool against Baltimore and then Brown against Indy. But at the end of the day, I think that scale tips in your favor, and I didn't want to talk myself out of it.
Yeah, so I've really just been picking myself, so I'm going to pick myself again, and it's been working. But
great analysis.
My last few weeks have been very fortunate to get the that I do, and I don't think I'm going to get any favors from Gascon here. But I completely agree with your analysis on the Panthers-Vikings game. I think the thing that the Panthers do well is they limit big plays by receivers generally. That's one thing they do. They get nickel and dimed all day, but they don't get big played by these receivers too often. And so I don't think Jefferson's going to have that crazy – you know how he generally has that one giant play where he gets that, 40-yard touchdown? Like, I feel like he's had bonuses in damn near every game he's played this year. I wish I don't have all of the –
Yeah, so when they were playing the Bears and he was ending my season's hopes a little bit, he does have those longer cuts, so 15-yard sprints and then stops on a dime and then gets the comebacker to the ball. So he will do some of those as well.
So I see him having one of these days like this Green Bay, this Detroit, this Seahawks game where it's more limited. I don't think he's going to be getting that much. I think what they're going to really do is jam the ball down our throats with Dalvin Cook because our rush defense is real suspect. So I think Dalvin Cook will see that 21 points, but I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to see I mean, he might get around 16, maybe, but I don't really see Kirk Cousins having a great game, and I don't see Jefferson having a great game. So while Dalvin Cook will have a good game, I think the other guys suffer because of that, and I think that he doesn't meet his projections because of that. But, I mean, Hopkins could go off. I think you were spot on with Fulgham. But, yeah, I'm not seeing anything that I love other than Cook and Hopkins. And for me, I think that Watson is on a completely different level all of a sudden. That 31-point game, he accounted for, I think it was like 80% of his team's yards. So now that David Johnson is out, they're just completely forgetting. They're just pushing everything else out of the way, and they're like, Deshaun, just win the game for us. Whatever you have to do, just do it. So I feel like now he's going to be on a different level. He had a tough game against Cleveland, but that was like in some weird blizzard, right? So not quite a blizzard, but you know what I mean.
Rainstorm.
Weird weather.
Wind, yeah.
He's had 25, 33, 24, 26, 31. I think he's going for closer to 30 this week. So that's going to be a huge boon. I think Carson coming back in this weather at Philly. It looks like it's going to be a scattered thunderstorm, that says, so it might be some weather. He's going to get a lot of run. The things that I'm worried about my team is Chark playing without Minshew has been a disaster. Now Higgins playing without Joe Burrow is going to be a disaster. So, and on top of that, A.J. Brown has been real tough these last few weeks. He had a pretty awesome touchdown, but he's been a little touchdown dependent lately. 3 out of the last 4 games, and 5 out of the last 7, he hasn't surpassed 80 yards. So it's not like he's getting 100 yards a game and really getting that kind of sustained production. He's getting a lot of touchdowns. So he's going to need a touchdown, I feel like. And last time they played Indy 2 weeks ago, he put up 2.6, 1 reception for 21 yards. So I think this is anyone's game. I picked myself because it's been working out for me, but easily Sean could win this game. I don't know how he's still bronze, by the
way. He must be terrible in his other leagues. Or he's just been terrible in our league for the whole entire existence of the league.
Your boy's platinum, by the way. Yeah. Platinum. All right. So you want?
Yeah. Who's next?
In this game. God damn it! Now I know. I went with the NPM.
No. First of all, I'm separate from the NPM.
Well,
but the NPM also chose you in this game.
All right. You now?
No. Let's do somebody else. Let's do Pebbles and Weave.
All right, Pebbles Weave.
So in this game, I'm taking Pebs. Weaver's had a tough few weeks here. He's in a similar situation, not as dire as myself, but still, you can feel the end, right? I'm taking Pebbles because we talked about Murray being tremendous. Pebbles' team is coming off of a fucking high spot, right? He's over 150 points scored this last week. Basically, everybody went off. Allen's looking good, although he could have a slightly rougher game against Buffalo. Kupp is looking great. Robinson against Cleveland is a great matchup. Cleveland against Jacksonville defense. I mean, there are a little bit of question marks on his side, like Gurley against the Raiders. How is he going to be? Goddard against the Seahawks. That's like the one area they do shine is against the tight end. However, on Weaver's end, Matt Ryan without Julio Jones has been really bad. And so I think that's rough. I mean, off of a 6-point performance. And the Saints have a great defense, but that was with Julio playing, and Julio is highly questionable.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean,
I have a real fun moment. I tried to trade Weaver Herbert for Davis after Christian got hurt again with the shoulder injury. No, wait, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit off on this. He tried to trade me Davis for Herbert, and I kept Herbert, and that was when CMC was coming back. And he said it was a backup for a backup, and I said Herbert's not really a backup. And I don't know. He was kind of my insurance policy that I was like, if anything happens to Watson, I still have an elite backup, and I won't have my title hopes crushed. And so that's kind of an interesting development that right after that, Christian went down again. Davis is back in the starting lineup. So that would have been, in hindsight, a blockbuster trade. He wouldn't have had to deal with this Matt Ryan bullshit every week. He would have been in a lot better shape because he would still have, Philip Lindsay. I know it's not like the best option in the world, or J.K. Dobbins, but
right. I have mixed feelings about that because on the one hand, what you're just describing, his running back situation is not that great. I mean, Dobbins was in a committee, and same with Lindsay, right? So like his number 2 back is highly questionable. So
he would have started Dobbins last week and Herbert if he had them.
Right. Well, that's hindsight. And what else I was going to say is Herbert is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th scoring quarterback in fantasy right now. He's 7th. He's ahead of, the next 4 are Brady, Tannehill, Lamar Jackson, and Roethlisberger. So what I was going to say is you could have gotten a hell of a lot more than Mike Davis. I understand he's insurance for your guy, but that would have been quite the steal for Weaver in terms of value.
I turned it down. I turned down the trade. So that was kind of where I was at. But anyway, that was a nice what-if moment.
Right. So, yeah, I'm taking Pebbles. Who do you got?
Matt Ryan's tough. Yeah. Cooper Kupp has been playing well, I feel like. Maybe I'm off on that. No, he had a great, I guess I'm thinking about Tampa Bay. He had a great game there. Great game against Miami. Antonio Brown, man, I feel like he's ramping up, man. I feel like Antonio Brown.
He definitely is on the upswing. He's got
the better running backs, which is crazy to say when he has the Carolina backfield and Ezekiel Elliott, and then we're talking about Todd Gurley and James Robinson.
Dude, Robinson is solid. I think he had a tough matchup last week. You don't think Robinson is solid, or you just don't believe in that offense?
I can't believe that he's as good as he is, but he's been kind of coming back down to earth a little bit lately. 15, 12, and then 10. They don't have a deep threat anymore. Like they don't have a threat they don't have a threat at quarterback to cause them to have a threat at wide receiver. So I think they're starting to just shut down the run, and it's going to be a little bit tough for Robinson until Minshew comes back. Yeah, I'll take Peebly. I hate to agree with you, but I think Peebly has the more solid team, the team that will put up the the floor numbers that you need to at least be respectable, and then he has opportunity for boom with Murray, Allen. I think Antonio Brown could have his best game of the year against the Chiefs. Everything's there for him.
That's going to be a shootout for sure.
And Kupp against San Francisco, I think he could also have a big game. So I'm going to pick up Peebly.
We've got 2 guys going on Thursday as it stands right now, Ezekiel Elliott and Matt Prater. Prater of the 0 points. So maybe Weaver makes a change. Who knows? That's so tough. Prater had 14 points the week previous, 0 points on Sunday.
Panthers defense just too good. Too good.
Moving on.
All
right, which one do you want to do now?
Let's do – for some reason, it is not showing – I have this week's matchup, like, up top, but then it was showing all of last week's matchup still.
Yeah.
So let's go with Bacon versus Max.
Ooh, I like that one. Okay. Who do you got?
So it looks like there's no flex position there for Bacon as of this podcast.
Yeah, so Thielen was taken out of that lineup because he conveniently only was tested positive yesterday for COVID, not on Sunday.
Is that a tinfoil hat theory you have?
It's for sure a tinfoil hat theory.
Do you think that the Minnesota training staff knew he had COVID and let him play?
I think that there is a widespread, I should say league-wide increase in positive tests reported on Mondays.
You don't think that has anything to do with the travel and also potentially, if there's that one guy that you're playing against that might have it?
How many star players have missed games because of COVID?
I can't think.
I can't think of any. I'm not saying that.
Cam Newton, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So he'll probably shoehorn Moss or Singletary into that role. Fuck, I didn't realize. Yeah, that might be more for Jefferson, or we'll just double cover Jefferson and he won't see nearly anything. Then some random wide receiver for the Vikings might have a boom. But let's take a look. Got to go with Jackson over Brady. Wide receivers, Sanders, Hill, and Landry. Beasley, McLaurin, Evans. I like Max's wide receivers better. McKissick. Man, I like Max in this one. Mark Andrews, I like him only slightly better than Hawkinson, only because Stafford has one thumb. And with Bear in the flex, all of a sudden his team is looking strong out of nowhere.
Right. I like this one. I also agree with you that Max is the pick. A fun thing that I'm looking at right here is Gibson versus McKissick. You can McKissick this dick versus his backfield mate.
That'll be a swing one way or the other. So
right, and let's see who's there. They're playing Dallas, so they honestly both could have good games. I've been unimpressed with Connor. Over the past few, he's been a little bit middling, but yeah, McLaurin and Evans are amazing. Andrews versus Pittsburgh is a little rough. Pittsburgh is really good. Lamar Jackson really struggles against Pittsburgh. Like the last time they played him, he only got 14 points on 208 passing yards. Actually, how did Andrews do in that game? So if we look, last game against Pittsburgh, Andrews got 4.7 points, 6 targets, 3 receptions, 32 yards. So Pittsburgh is just lights out on defense and it's tough, but on the whole, Max's team feels a little stronger than what Bacon has going out there. One thing for Bacon, or a few things. Henry against anybody. He only got 11 last time they played Indy. But Landry against Jacksonville, I think that's a good matchup. The Jaguars are really bad on defense, and although Landry has not had the great numbers recently, last week in Philadelphia or in Cleveland against Philadelphia, the weather was god-awful. And so I think that whole offense opens it up against the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
But I have Max. I got Max.
And we're agreeing so far. This scares me a little bit.
Yeah, you'll just make some sub 500 picks. Evan versus Adam.
Yeah, it's movable object versus what is it? Oh, never mind. All right, yeah, let's go with that.
The immovable object versus the
Unstoppable force.
Unstoppable force. Is that what it is?
That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, immovable object versus an unstoppable force.
All right.
That makes my brain hurt.
Automatically, I'm going Brad. He has, in my opinion, the team to beat at this point in the season. Rodgers, Fuller has been phenomenal this year, and he's a super boomy player. Godwin seems to be rounding back into his draft position form. Samuel, we already talked about him. Kamara. Swift seems to take over the backfield, so he got injured randomly last week. That's why Bill started Peterson.
Concussed in practice, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's got Kelsey. We all know what's up with that. I'm not really sold on this Patrick fella, but, I mean, he's putting up a floor these last 3 games. So I'm going with Brad.
I'm picking Brad too. He's a hot team. You don't want to bet against the hot team. It will be interesting to see if Swift actually is able to play on Thursday. Concussions can kind of linger. And if not, I mean, Brad's other running backs are questionable at this point, so he might have to make a move on the wire tonight. But on Scott's side, this is not the final lineup we're going to see. You know, Scott doesn't edit until, Thursday mornings or whatnot. So, like, for instance, Diggs is on Scott's bench. He'll play, and he's playing the Clippers, so he's going to produce. Aguilar is on the bench. He just put up a big game against the Chiefs, so he should find his way into the lineup against the Falcons. And then we can see what Colts running back Scott goes with. So
Both of them.
I mean, he picked up Ronald Jones. He's got to play him again.
Does he? I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a shootout too in that game, so that'll be interesting. I mean, I think Scott can keep this one competitive, but you can't pick against Brad.
Yeah, I can't. All right, so we both got Brad in that one. Look at us.
Are we all in alignment on all of our picks?
Lockstep.
Wow.
All right, so you kind of went off of the order I had. So who do we have next? We have
So Adam and Evan, yeah.
That's the last one?
Well, then there's my matchup as well.
Oh.
We might be in agreement in that one as well.
You go first on this one. You go first.
I have Evan winning this game. This is going to be a tight one, but I love Evan's running backs, Chubb and Jones. Not so much Duke Johnson, but the Chubb, Jones, and Mahomes, it's hard to bet against that trifecta week in and week out. Also, Amari Cooper seems to have some life with Dalton back. And, yeah, I mean, Anderson against Minnesota, they're not great on defense against receivers. Although Adam's team has also shown some life. Obviously, Devontae is a fantasy godsend. We talked about DJ Moore having better games and being more involved. Robinson is still getting the target share, even though the Bears' offense is god-awful. This one is going to be close, but I'm taking Evan because of Chubb, Jones, and Mahomes.
Yeah, so Mahomes is going to have a huge game. I feel like Roethlisberger probably not so much. Is this questionable tag anything to worry about?
I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. Devontae, I think he has a good game, but he could have a less than stellar Adams game because of that Chicago matchup. They have a very good defense. But he'll outscore Robbie Anderson. DJ Moore should outscore Amari Cooper, I think. Allen Robinson will outscore Slayton. Chubb will probably – Jacobs and Chubb is a watch. Duke Johnson has been horrendous, but he's going up against a horrible defense. So
Yep, and he's the starter.
that could be a wash as well. I like Henry only slightly better than Ebron, so that's a wash. And then where it really comes into play, I guess it's the flex. It really should be Duke Johnson in the flex, but Aaron Jones is in the flex. So obviously like him better than Melvin Gordon, but he had a big game last week. I think I'm going to deviate from you and go with Adam here. I'm going to pick Adam to win this one.
Are you doing that just to deviate, or do you actually believe he's going to win?
I think he has the better wide receivers by a lot, and I think everything else other than the quarterback position is a little bit of a wash. So, and I think Roethlisberger could have a fine game. Like, he might not, but I think he will have a fine game. What did he put up last time we played Baltimore? Put up 15, so it wasn't horrible, but wasn't great. So
Not
yeah,
great. Do you think Adam makes a defensive switch, or does he roll with Cincinnati against the Giants?
he's gonna make a switch. He was upset that you traded with me because he, like he said, wanted to pick up the Giants after you dropped them.
Very
So
true.
he will make a switch. He has a Chicago defense he hasn't put back. I don't know if he's brave enough to play the Chicago defense against Green Bay.
Against
But
Green Bay, yeah.
dude, the real question is he brave enough to play Daniel Jones against the Bengals over
Right.
Ben?
I saw that. He picked him up.
Yeah,
I bet you he is not unless Ben is ruled out. I think if they're both healthy, he's rolling with Ben.
he's got Keelan Cole and Brown on the bench. I guess
Brown
he's
should
not,
be on the bench.
not going Brown with the shit this time around. All right. So final matchup. The
Last
NPAN.
matchup. No, yes, that's me. That's right. I mean, that is my team name. Talk me through this.
Oh, man. Well, you have a high bush. As of now, you got your boy Josh Allen back, which is good. Against the Clippers could be a potential shootout, but is it Russell Wilson against Philly shootout? Russ has had some trouble since that trade, 23, 9, and 20. Josh Allen, how has he been lately? 36, 26. So he's rolling and he's playing a good matchup. So I have your quarterback better. You have just a bunch. You have, in my opinion, Tyler Boyd is in the same boat as Higgins. They're both just kind of fucked without Burrow. You got Jones, who, I mean, if Stafford's throwing with one thumb on his left hand, then I think you're in trouble.
Dude, again, literally Marvin Jones had a touchdown callback, right? So yeah, he put up 7 points. I mean, there's all of those like what ifs, but
So Marvin Jones, I think that's a tough ask to get 11. I think it's a tough ask to get 11 from Boyd. Ridley could have 15.3, but they're going to be blanketing him without Julio Jones. Is he out for sure, Julio?
questionable.
Sanders should have a good game. Henderson will not get 8. No chance. He rushed 8 times last week for 5 yards. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's getting 8, in my opinion. Do you have anyone else, Colin? Anyone? Dude, too bad you can't just put a wide receiver in there. There you go. Boston Scott. Maybe throw him in there. Dude, it's tough.
I bet you Boston Scott scores on my bench.
Dude, he did well in my bench. All right, so Devontae's on the uptick, so that's a solid play. Miami defense against New York Jets, that's huge. That could be a great boon for you. Like, can't underestimate that boon there. But you're playing against Wilson. I think you should outperform him with Allen, but we'll see. He's got Johnson, Lockett, and Williams. I think other than Ridley, those are – and maybe Parker, all 3 of those are better. But when you throw Cooks in, I think he's got 4 out of the top 5 wide receiver matchups. I think his wide receivers are better. Leonard Fournette is complete trash. So he's on that Henderson level, that Hendo level. He's basically got the Tampa Bay version of Henderson. So other than that, he's got Kenyon Drake. That's a real tough start. But he's been getting decent volume. Dude. This is really a tough one.
Right.
Oh, man. I think you pull off the upset. I think you pull off the upset and beat him.
Wow.
Your matchups better. And This sounds really fucked up to say, and like defense versus Carolina defense. Maybe he'll pick someone else, but I think that Minnesota-Carolina game is a fairly decent scoring game, like in the 20s, and he won't get many points. And I think you could very well get like a defensive score.
Starting to lose your ear. My internet might have just crapped out.
I'm gonna get like 12 to 20. Did we lose a recording? Or are you still in it?
We're still in it, surprisingly.
Oh man, yeah. I didn't do anything interesting in there. Good thing I didn't like whip it out like that one day.
Yeah. Well, before I dropped, I was agreeing with everything you were saying, except I'm picking Bill to win.
Yeah, it's probably a safe bet.
I'm picking Bill to win because I've lost 5 games in a row. My team has not eclipsed 117 points. I don't even know, in like 2 months. Oh, good work.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I only did it because you could see it better. I've drank an 1/8 of this bottle of whiskey. So that's what's wrong with me. No, I'm changing my pick right now. No, I'm kidding. I still think Miami puts up huge points and puts you over.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, and that's why I was fine with trading the Giants to you today. But yeah, I mean, Bills put Mike Williams in there and took Pittman out. I don't know. It's going to be close, but I'm taking Bill because I have no faith in my team. Although I did want to offer a Henderdog bet to you.
The 8 points?
8 points flat. So I'm taking 8 and above. You're taking 7.99 and below.
Yeah, dude. I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
What do you want to wager?
Yeah.
Give me a thumbs up.
Clapping back, dude. What do you want to wager? Do you want to do that fun water shot challenge?
Yeah, let's do that.
Fun water shot challenge. Let's do that one. I'm in.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure doing this pod.
It's been a long one. We said we were going to go an hour, and we've gone like an hour and 40 minutes or so.
I know. We got to get out of here.
Go. All right, man. It was good seeing you. Are you going to turn off the recording and we can get our proper goodbyes?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, bye, League. It was fun being on the People's Pod. Thank you for having me, Mr. Gall, on your podcast. Hopefully it blows up my followers on Twitter / at Radio Keys Music if you want to check it out.
Yeah, good luck to everyone except for Bill. So we have been
Just
a couple
best
friends hanging out.